Hello, and welcome to Fallawsophy. I'm your host, Jennifer Fallaw-Doering, and my philosophy is to believe in infinite possibilities. Tonight, I'm talking about empaths. Now, empaths have gotten a bad rap. Some people don't even know what that is. There was a time when I didn't either. For some of you, this will be review, but I have gotten some new information for me. Maybe you already know this, that I think is pretty cool. I went into meditation and I talked to Archangel Uriel today just to get a little bit more. And so I'm going to share that with you. And, understanding what an empath is and how many there are might lead to possibly understanding yourself better, why you react to things the way you do, or even children, members of your family. And I think it's quite a misunderstood thing. I remember years ago, I had no idea what that was. When my daughter Faith was born, it was early on, and I remember having a dream. And in this dream, I was standing on this rolling grass field. I mean, long blades of blowing grass. It was weird. And there was this woman next to me, which looked like my mother, but it wasn't. And I found out years later that that's my guide. And I saw Faith as an adult. And she had dark hair, which is interesting because she was a blonde child. And she was standing at a podium speaking, overlooking this grassy rolling field, which I still haven't figured out the significance of that. Anybody have any ideas about that? You might want to chime in. But she was standing at a wooden podium speaking, and when I looked at her face, there were words written kind of like in black marker all over her face. And I looked at the guide and I said, "Who is this?" She goes, "That's Faith." And I said, "Why are there words all over her face?" And she said, "She's an empath." And I woke up and I remember that part of it. She's an empath. And I said, I must have made that up. She's empathetic. I thought, oh, well, she's empathetic. And I never, actually, it wasn't even until like 2012, I think it was, when I saw maybe 11, 10, something like that, when everybody started getting on Facebook, everybody started sharing all their spiritual stuff, and I heard about it, and somebody was talking about it, and I just like stopped in my tracks. I saw the word empath, and I was like, wait a minute, that's a thing? What is that? And so I found out a little bit about it, and over the years in the spiritual circles, people talk about empaths. It is actually a psychic ability. Some people talk about it like it's a curse. It's like a mental condition. It's not. It's not a mental condition. It's actually a very special thing. But people do struggle with it, and I'll tell you why. But I remember over time, as I looked back on her life and the early years, and I learned more about what an empath is, it made sense to me because Faith, both of my children, totally amazing. I go on with so many stories, just knock your socks off. You guys would love it. And I will one day. We'll do a show on psychic children. But she would get, we were living in California. They always had some kind of ear infection or cold or whatever going around with their immune systems. But she would sometimes get like these weird symptoms that didn't add up to anything. And I'd take her into the doctor, like we always taking her back and forth to the doctor. Healthy kids, but, just kids stuff. In the beginning, you take them to the doctor for everything. And she'd have like a stomach ache, or she'd have this or that, which didn't make any sense, or her back hurt. And I'm like, you're brand new. Why would your back hurt? And I look back and I'm like, there were times, and I'm thinking, well, my back's hurting. And I was putting two and two together when she was little, thinking, is it like sympathy pains? And then when I found out what it was, I'm like, oh my goodness, it makes sense now. Because she was picking up on me. She was picking up on her dad. She was picking up on Katie. And not understanding what was going on, taking these physical symptoms on as her own. And, if you've got a kid in the house who always gets these weird symptoms and it really doesn't add up to anything, take a look around and see if somebody else is having a problem in the house, and you might have an empath. I got a house full of empaths over here. So for us, it can be challenging at times. But what an empath is, now keep this in mind. They are naturally high in vibration. So when I tell you all this stuff, don't walk around and think, oh, I'm susceptible to everything. You're not. It is a form of psychic ability. It is the reading of energy. And I used to think, until today, that the solar plexus of an empath was just more open and they would pull in more energy. And that's why that they would be so sensitive to things. That was kind of true, but not really. They're pulling energy in of all the chakras. Now, some people see a picture of the colors and they think, oh, we got chakras all the way down the middle. You have them on all over the place. You got them on your back, on the ends of your arms, your legs, your feet, your shoulders, everywhere. And these kind of look, I don't see the colors when I look at them. They just look like points in the body where energy comes and goes. So an empath pulls energy in from these and reads it. And if you are an empath, so they have a heightened sensitivity. And so a lot of this energy that's coming in, they'll take on as their own symptoms, their own feelings, their own thoughts. This kind of psychic ability can lead to extrasensory perception, a knowing about things, reading the intentions of others, the level of vibrations, health conditions from other people, very common. Empaths feel very deeply their emotions in others. So, we used to call it, oh, she's sensitive, or, we have different words about it. But, they really do have a keen ability. What they're doing is, it's very interesting. They're actually neutralizing negative energy. That is why there's so many. And I'll get to that in a minute. That's what I got today. And that's what I didn't know. And that's why empaths have such a hard time. But they recover. So an empath, not, I wouldn't call yourself an empath. If you're an empath, after when we get done with the show, you'll know if you're an empath or not. They don't just become irritated with people or don't like people or don't like crowds or don't like standing in line because they're impatient. It's different. And there are different levels of sensitivity. Depends on the person. It's not like, well, I'm a level 5 empath and you're a 2 or something. It's not like that. It's Archangel Uriel said that everybody who is an empath is an empath. It's not like I'm half an empath and, part of you're an empath. You either do it or you don't. The difference in severity depends on, of course, a person's beliefs and everything else, but a person's sensitivity to certain stimulus. So let's say, like with me and Brett, we don't really have problems with crowds. We've always been people persons. It's just when we come in contact with someone individually, in close proximity, if they are sick or negative or have attachments or something like that, we'll just start, I got to get away. It's too much. Or somebody's terribly negative. We'll start to, it changes your mood. Another symptom of an empath would be somebody who goes into like Walmart and comes out with an anxiety attack because they are bombarded by people with all the emotions of everybody around them. Even, and I don't know how the fluorescent lights come in to play, but as I've gotten older, I can't stand them. I don't know what that's about. I also cannot stand the sound of the bathroom fans in our house. Just drives me crazy. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that has anything to do with this. Little tidbit, just to add that in there. But an empath is, so if you've got a kid who is terribly affected by music, you put on the happy music, they're happy. You put on a sad song, they're crying. You put on the Humane Society commercial comes on the TV and you look over and they're bawling. They feel things very deeply. It's the energy coming off the music. It's the energy coming off of the show. You're not going to want to have the news on in a house full of empaths. It's going to change the entire mood of the room. They just, and a lot of people, I was asking if certain people maybe have been diagnosed with like bipolar or something like that, or just personality, things like that, or put on meds for anxiety, and we're just empaths. And I asked Uriel about that, and he said a lot. So understanding if you are, and how to cope with it and how to use it is very beneficial. And that's why I decided to do this show tonight. I was talking to a client today about it, and I kept going between 3 different topics I was going to do. And I know you guys are going to be like, oh, I wish you did the pet show. I was going to do pets and the afterlife. But when I started to research that one, and I figured, well, this is going to take many meditations because you're talking about the possible evolution of souls, pet souls and animal souls, and what that's all about. It just kind of opened up a whole can of worms. I'm like, that's a big topic. So that's something I'm going to have to work on. Then I was going to talk about what I call psychic TV. It's a form of telepathy. And how the average person does use telepathy with those that they're close to and don't even realize it. That's a big one too. So then I was talking to a client today, and we were talking about empaths. And I said, that's what everybody needs right now, because I'm trying to, with the first shows, catch everybody up to speed, and do the most beneficial shows that'll help people out right now, emotionally, spiritually. And so this is one of them. A lot of people have no idea that they are an empath. They have struggled with the emotions and the energies of life for a very long time. So let's say you have a child who is getting phantom pains. They are, an empath. They walk into a room and everybody is happy and laughing. They're going to just, even if they're in a bad mood, they're laughing and happy. If one person can set them off too, just one blast of negative energy will set them off because they've just sucked it in to all their chakras, all their energy centers, and what they're doing is they're diffusing it. They're neutralizing this, and then they push it out. It takes them a little longer to recover because it hangs around with them for much longer, but they do recover. That's one thing you'll notice. So I asked, why are the people here? Why are people here and why are they empaths? What's the purpose of that? Uriel said they are the readers and the teachers and the signal lights. And they are called to keep a balance of energy in the universe. They're like receptors. They regulate the flow of positive energy and neutralize negative energy with their physical bodies. Now, who knew that? Raise your hand. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. And that's why they pull it in. But what they're also doing is they're pushing it back out. So if you have an empath who's having an awesome day and comes into a room, all of a sudden, everybody's having an awesome day. They have the ability to pick people up like you would not believe. They are the healers. They are a conduit for energy. They're the cheerleaders of the world and the air filters of the world. And that's why there's so many. That's why it's so common, because it's very important. Now, I was asking Michael, I said, he said almost all mediums are empaths, almost all. But not all empaths are mediums, because not all empaths can handle the emotion of being a medium. The stories and the sadness and all of that. But almost all mediums are empaths. And I thought that was interesting. And it makes sense if you think about it, because they need to perceive energy on a deep level when they're dealing with like earthbound spirits. They need to pull that in. And what they're doing is they're analyzing the whole thing and figuring out what they're dealing with. Now, this is not, if you're an empath, don't go around just sucking people's energy in. This is not entities that you're pulling in. This is just residual energy. This is energy in a room. This is energy that's coming off an individual, a situation, a piece of furniture, an old jacket, everything. So what they're doing is they pull it in. It comes in from all over the place, comes into their body, and they neutralize it. And it's not that they're keeping this negative energy. What they're doing is they're dissipating it, and then they push it out. And when so empaths are really, really going to want to learn how to cleanse. And there's certain things that you can do to cope with this and learn how to use it correctly if you'd like to, or just cope with life. But they are very beneficial to all of us, and some people view it like, oh, she's an empath, so like she's hard to deal with, right? Um, but they can also be the most loving people. They can be the most giving people. They can be the most healing people. And, empaths be wonderful with Reiki, healing, mediumship, uh, and counseling. They really would, just to sit in the room with one is actually very, very healing. And they may not, if they know what they're doing, if they might even if they don't know what they're doing. So it's a very interesting thing, but they regulate. So it's like they sent all these air purifiers out into the world to get rid of all this stuff. And so you got to clean your filter. I mean, you got to cleanse. You got to cleanse those chakras, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. And he said they're called to keep the balance in the universe, which is interesting because a lot of us in the spiritual, and I've met people like this, a lot of in the spiritual arena know that we're here for a reason. And a lot of those people may be empaths. They say, well, a lot of special people have been coming in for the last 20, 50 years, whatever. A lot of them may be empaths because think about the situation in the world right now. There's a lot of negative energy out there. And I thought it was very interesting that they neutralize it. So why they have such a hard time? Why you have such a hard time at Walmart, or why you have such a hard time when you encountered that in the office, with everybody in their cubicle, just like, just so negative, and why sometimes some of them, they have their tight circles of friends, and they can read your intentions. They can feel it. They don't quite know exactly what you're going to do, but they know they don't like you. They either love you or they don't like you. It's like crazy. My Katie's like that. She got a very small circle. If you're in the circle, you're good. Her dad was like that. Everybody would like somebody and he'd be like, he's a punk. Just like, and he knew, and he was, he was always right. He was always right about people. So they feel negative energy as it flows through them and can take on the symptoms of that. So this means illness, depression, anxiety, anything like that, anger. Also positive energies, joy, and, very affected by music and the energy flowing from that, as I said. They may take all, and that's the problem, is that they take these all on if they don't know, or if they don't take a second to analyze it and realize what they're doing. They'll take it on as their own symptoms. Like 1 minute it's like, oh, I was just fine until I walked into, the convenience store to pay for my gas. And, if anybody does that anymore. And example. And now I'm mad. Out of nowhere. Why am I mad? Why am I upset? And this happens all the time. And you have to take a minute. You can stop and say, wait a minute. Whose is this? Is this mine? Do I have any reason to be mad? No. Have I just decided to have a bad day? Well, no, I was having a great day. I don't really want to do that. Okay, so what you got to do is you got to take that light, you got to bring it into your body, just like we do when we're blasting things. If you've listened to my other classes, shows, and you're going to push that back out. Problem is, a lot of people don't know to do that, and they just they're stuck with it for the rest of however long it takes for that to dissipate and push its way out. So, people who are empaths may get the residue sometimes of negative energy that's been dissipated. If they've taken on a lot of it and they just can't, they'll carry it. They'll carry it in their body. And it's funny because I've done healings and what it looks like in meditation is like this brown Play-Doh just sitting in the lower half of the body. And if you got that built up for a long period of time, you can start having knee problems, start having hip problems, you can start having, lower intestinal problems, things like that. It's really interesting. But, it's very important to pull as a conductor for this energy. I don't know if that's quite the right word, but to bring the light into your body when you're feeling that way. And just think of yourself with all these spots on you, okay? All these ins and outs, these openings, and just push it out in all of them. Just cleanse it all away. That's important to do morning and night. Just do it in your head. And you can also change by doing that. You can also lighten the mood in a room. I wouldn't suggest consciously pulling in like everyone's negative energy at once. Probably not a good idea. It's probably not a good idea. Don't do that. And try to diffuse an entire situation because you're naturally going to do what needs to be done. But you can most definitely say, God, send me your light. And push it out into the room. Cleanse yourself anytime, you're feeling emotions and physical symptoms that don't make any sense, that aren't yours. Push it back out. Sometimes the drawbacks of being an empath is, well, that is a drawback, but also people will become very tired of being exposed to other people's energy. And they might just choose to stay home or just choose to stay away from people. They'll avoid crowds. They'll avoid social gatherings because it's just too hard. So if you find yourself doing that, you need to start cleansing. You need to learn how to cleanse yourself because this is going to be your maintenance to keep yourself on track. You don't have to hide. You need to go out. And the same way, anybody who didn't watch that show, it's on psychic protection. It's on this channel. How we all learn to put a bubble light around us, and some people are like, oh, bubble light, just do it. It's real. Anyway, so bubble of light, when you go into, like Walmart, the grocery store, movie theaters, things like that, if we ever get to go back to movie theaters, and just put your shields up, put your protection up. It's something that you don't have to tell anybody about. But it's maintenance for empaths. Let's see here. Okay. A lot of empaths are here right now to maintain keeping a balance. And a good practice. This is the ways to cope. Good practice. When you're feeling it coming on, when you feel something like, okay, I'm feeling a little overwhelmed here, starting to get anxious, get a little pissed off for absolutely no reason. In your mind's eye, recognize that energy has started flowing in. It doesn't mean that you're possessed. It doesn't mean that you got an attachment. It's just the energy around you. You know that you can neutralize this. So what I want to see you do, or I want you to see, is that, let's say it's brown energy. Let's call it brown energy. Just dissipate. Just like as if you dropped a drop into water and it just dissipates so much that it is no longer brown. Pull the light into you. Your body does this anyway. And see it just leaving you and going up into the white light of the Holy Spirit. Do that. So what you're going to do is the visualization of, okay, I think I've got too much negative energy coming at me. I'm going to neutralize it and get rid of it, just like an air filter, just like whatever. But I just do not keep any of it. No residue, no dirty filter. Clean the filter and just let it all carry away. Whenever you feel that you need it. First thing to do, like I said, is to identify, is this mine or not? Because I was fine a minute ago. And I'll find that, it'll be like, the husband's an empath. He'll come home from work. Nicest guy ever. Okay? He'll come home from work and just like be a jerk. And I'm like, what the hell happened today? Nothing. I just don't like you, basically. It's just after acting like he doesn't like me. And I'm like, okay, somebody needs to be blasted, so I blast him. And then pretty soon he feels fine. But sometimes it's an entity that followed him home. I didn't ask if empaths are more susceptible to that, but they probably are. And sometimes he's just absorbed the negative energy from all the weirdos on the job site, and he needs to cleanse. It's something he has to do regularly. But he is also, when Brett walks into a room and he's laughing, everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. And I just love him for that. So, protection. Empaths also will be the best blasters. They have a keen ability to blast away negative energy in a room or from an entity or for anything. That's what they do. That's what they're made of. They have a keen ability to bring in God's light of creation into their body, put it in another body, blast away the darkness. So they're basically warriors, even though they're cleaning up without knowing it, and balancing everything out. They chose to be this way. So don't think, oh my God made me a air filter. They chose to be this way. They're basically warriors. And they're functioning as such without even knowing it. I think it's interesting, the rise in anxiety cases over the years as more and more come in. When I was a kid, my mom would say, oh, she's deep. She's just deep, Like, what the hell does that mean? I'm emotional. Yes, I am emotional. She's really deep. And so it's like, okay, we didn't have the term empath. We didn't have the term anxiety. If we had, you had a bad day, all your girlfriends and you would get around and, talk a bunch of crap and eat ice cream and move on. And they came in and helped you make you feel better. Now we've got people that have a lot of problems just with everyday life. And I think we're bombarded by negative energy. And these are probably the empaths that are having trouble processing it all. And so let's start the cleansings. If you ever have trouble doing it yourself, you can always come to me. Go to jenniferfallaw.com. And I can get that all cleansed away. But you really need to learn how to do it yourself. Bam. There's a banner. So anyway, And it's just important for people to know. Now, the whole extrasensory perception thing, that's what we used to call it, psychic ability. Now, what can we do with this? Just like I said, you're a conduit for energy. You can read the energy of a situation, read the energy of what's coming. Also might be a reason to cause people anxiety. So, and you're going to process it. You're going to have to put words to how you're feeling. So if someone asks you a question, let's say in conversation, what do you think is going to happen? You immediately, a year from now. Or your husband's talking, or your wife, and where are we going to be a year from now? And you immediately start to pull in energy from a year from now off of that time period. And what you have to do, pay attention, because a lot of people that are psychic have many different talents, okay? They have many different abilities. And when you read things, when you read energy, you're going to see things, you're going to hear things, you're going to smell things, you're going to feel things. And you basically just want to put together, well, I see this, I feel this feels right, that doesn't feel right. So like if I hear this in my head, and you put them all together to try to come up with an answer. That's what psychics do. So it's just a different form. Sometimes when, somebody who's clairvoyant is asked a question, they'll immediately see an image in their mind's eye and say, well, I see this scene. But then they start pairing together, again, what they feel, what they see, what they hear. And that's how you do psychic readings. Well, see, I'm over here talking to the angels, I'm like, what do you think about that? And then they give me all the information. That's mediumship, by the way. And if there's a lot of mediums out there watching, you kind of already know this if you're practicing. But if you're not, and you are the one in the family who tends to see things out of the corner of your eye, and would want to develop that psychic protection for you as an empath is going to be very, very important. But you will feel the difference in energies in entities that you encounter. Somebody wants to talk to somebody from home, from heaven, much higher vibration, feels fine. No real danger there at all. Do it with the angels. I always suggest that. So you know who you're talking to. But if there's ghosts in a home, that's when you're really going to want to protect yourself. You're going to walk into a haunted house and be like very uncomfortable. You're going to feel it immediately. And then the process starts of, okay, do I want to see this? And, some people are brave. They say, yep, I want to see it. I want to know it. I want to feel it. And so they start putting the pieces together. And a lot of times the entity will show up and a medium talks to them. But what they'll also get as a medium is they will start feeling the physical condition of the person, the emotional condition of the person who is a ghost, and their desires, what they want, whether they want to go home or if they don't. Even if they can't hear them, they'll feel it. So it's very important to practice the right kind of protection. Bubbles of light, take your team with you. And that's how you're going to use this empath ability. And it's processing that information. He also said, and I didn't want to write it down because I wasn't sure about it, but he said it twice, that empaths have the ability to read minds and intentions. And I don't like the whole concept of reading minds because I don't like anything that's intrusive, But what he actually means is the people around you. So if you've got one empath or two empaths or people that are very, very close, like husband and wife, or um, a mother and a daughter or something like that, they will start to think the same things at the same time. Like with Faith, when she was a baby, I swear to God, I thought I needed to fashion, like with that kid, I needed to fashion like some kind of tinfoil helmet or something, because if I even thought about going to the park, she's over in the living room. She's like, park? Like, oh my God, stop it. What is this? What's with this kid? I just like the most psychic thing ever. Her sister is too, but her sister's like a pistol, man. She is empath, like supreme. But she would know what I was thinking. And my husband and I are both empaths, so we're just like on the same page all the time. Like, I'll be sitting over thinking, well, there's absolutely nothing to do. Everything is closed except the casino. And I'm like, I'd really like to go there. I'd really like to go out. I'd really like to do something. Maybe we should go to the casino. And I'm like, no, that's bad. We shouldn't go to the casino. We shouldn't do that. It's not responsible. And he'll walk in and say, you want to go to the casino? I'm like, you are such a bad influence. I was just thinking that, and he'll ask me, what do you want to eat? And I won't answer. I'll be like, oh, I don't know. What do you want to eat? I want him to decide, because I want him to be happy. And he'll do the same thing to me, but we're both thinking Chinese, even though we know it ruins our low carb diet. And then he'll look at me and go, you want Chinese? And I'll be like, it did it again. We're always doing that. So I think that's what he means about reading minds. It's kind of a telepathy kind of thing. And so you got somebody over there, or like when he's brooding about something, I'm like, I know what he's upset about. I did something stupid. And he's over there brooding. He won't tell me about it. And I know something I said, didn't realize, or whatever. I don't know. And it's kind of funny, because he'll say, no, I'll ask him, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? Okay. You want to talk about it? You want to talk? Tell me. No. And then he'll come out with it later. He's not done with it. He's working it out. Maybe he's over there dissipating all my negative energy or something. But he'll do that. And then he'll finally tell me, and I'm like, you know what? I already knew that. And so you can be very close. Like my mother, my mother, for the longest time, and not lately, because she's been so separated from everything since the coronavirus. But if I really want my mother to call me, all I got to do is focus. That woman will call me. And like it used to be, we would, when the kids were little and they were in school and I wasn't working so much, we would get together like once a week. She lives like 40 minutes north from here, and she'd come down for lunch and we go shopping. Woman would show up wearing the exact same basically outfit as me. Like if I was wearing jeans and a black top, she'd show up wearing jeans and a black top. If I was wearing a red sweatshirt and black leggings, she'd show up wearing a red top and black pants. It just like never fails. It would happen over and over and over again for years. And I used to test it out. I used to go into, like, she'd get to the store first, and I'd be like, I bet I could find this woman in this big store without even texting her or calling her. And I just kind of like fall. I could feel her. I could feel where she was. It was like we were that connected. And so empaths will do things like that. So it's kind of hard to hide, if you're husband and wife, what you're thinking, because they can feel it. They may not know the exact words. They may not have tapped into your mind, but they can feel what's going on. And that's why they keep asking you, is something wrong? And you're like, no, nothing's wrong. Because, a lot of times people say that when they feel like, well, maybe I'm being stupid and I shouldn't say anything about it. But they feel it anyway. So if you're walking around thinking that you're not affecting people when you're upset about something, you still are. You might as well just blurt it out and talk it out and get it over with. 3 days of silence is not productive. An empath is also going to have an absolutely beautiful ability to create. They are going to see the beauty in the world. They're going to feel the beauty in the world. They are going to create masterpieces. When they write something, you will feel it to your soul. I'm starting to think, the numbers of the amount of empaths on this earth right now just keep increasing the more and more that I talk. And I think that if more people knew about this and they properly kind of dealt with it, coped with it, cleansed themselves, identified what is this energy and where is it coming from? This actually is not mine. So I don't have to be upset. I don't have to be anxious. I don't have to be afraid. This is something that came off of somebody else. It'll be gone in a minute, and I can get rid of it quickly. I'll just dissipate it. I'll just see it dissipating in my mind and just leaving me. And I'll bring the light down in, and I'll just blast it out all the holes, all the chakras, cleanse it right away. So start doing that. And understand that it is not a curse. It is actually a gift. And start embracing all the wonderful things about yourself. An empath, being so emotional, so connected, would probably have a really hard time with people in school, because they could feel the negative, the people don't like them, and would have a really hard time with people that don't like them. You could have like Faith, bunches of friends. Okay, she's a very likable person. Katie too. But if one person says one thing, oh my God, they're ruined. They're destroyed. They come home, I ask them, what's the matter? Hour and a half later, after a good cry and a few cookies, they've told me that nobody likes them and they have no friends. And I'm like, that's absolutely not true. And I've come to find out this one person said one thing, and they're just totally destroyed because they can feel that person doesn't like them, and they take it on themselves as if it was true. And then some people might carry this around for the rest of their life. Oh, that one person that was so popular said that I was fat, or I was stupid, or I was ugly, or whatever. So let's just carry that as a big badge right here for the rest of our life, because, and not identifying that person's a total idiot and it was jealousy or something. But we'll do that. So reevaluating the badges that you wear and the way that you've been handling yourself, knowing these things about you, it might help a lot. It might be time to clean house. And if you learn how to use it correctly, it just might morph into some kind of badass. I mean, I totally would. I blast people all the time. And I'm going to start doing this too, because I've always been really affected by music. I've always it's so here's an example. So you got a party, bunch of people in a room. Everybody's laughing, having a good time talking. And so one person walks in and they're like a rain cloud, right? And they're just suck it. They're just pulling everybody down. And you're the empath over there and everything was fine. You turn around and see this person and all of a sudden you're like, I'm done with this. I feel tired and I don't want to be here anymore and I'm in a bad mood and everybody sucks. So I'm going to go. And it's like out of nowhere, your party's ruined because of that one person. So in that moment, you need to like stop and go, wait a minute. I was fine a minute ago. Until I started talking to that person or till I saw that person. Okay, that's their deal. I'm going to blast them. Okay, I'll just blast them. Nobody's going to know about it. Help them out. Fill them up with light, right? But I'm also going to blast myself. I'm also going to cleanse that away and get it. I'm not going to take 2 hours to get rid of it. Okay, I'm going to let it go. I'm going to get it out of there now. So try that next time. And as far as the anxiety of being in a public place, you're going to have to put your shields up. You're going to have to walk around in your bubble. You more than anybody can pull that light in and push it out and create a nice little shield there. It's part of who you really are. And that's amazing. So empaths, not a curse. It's actually a gift. I would like to try to put some commercials up. Let's see how this goes. And I'll be right back. Okay, that was cool. I'm trying to make more of this, and it's basically all for the radio station, beaconoflightradio.com. If you would like to have a reading with me, you can go to BinkJenniferFallaw.com. And I'd like to talk to you all about the class that I'm going to be teaching on this Monday. I have been doing an interdimensional meditation series. If you have not done it, you can go to JenniferFallaw.com. You can get class 1 and 2. Class 1 is basically how to do it and how to get there. And it's basically going to the heaven dimension, your home level in heaven, and talking to the archangels, like stepping into a dream, seeing them, hearing them, going on adventures. Class 2 is going to stand in the presence of God with Jesus there and the angels there and receiving healing or doing healing on yourself. Awesome. Class 3 is very important because it is mediumship. This will teach you, whether you're just doing it for you, how to go into meditation and talk to your loved ones who have passed away or travel to where they are, and talk to them face to face on your own, so you no longer have to feel like they are gone forever. And I can't think of anything more healing than that. So that's why I'm teaching it. It seems very simple, but there will be some surprises in there. There will be some techniques and some things to make it easier on you and help you understand the whole process and do it safely. And then I will teach you how I do mediumship readings while awake. So you can go to jenniferfallaw.com. That's going to be a live class on April 5th, Monday at 5 p.m. And it will be available after that. I suggest you hit the live show because then you can ask me questions. If you would like a reading with me, you can also go there. If you need a healing, if you want to cleanse, if you want to like cleanse the chakras, we can do that too. I just wanted to do this show about empaths because I feel like right now a lot of people are in a hard place. A lot of emotions, you know what's going on. And we need to understand, there's this word awakening going around. It's true. It's absolutely true. It is a process. The more you educate yourself on the function of the soul, the more you'll understand about how you relate to things. Because you're all souls in a physical vehicle. It's like me in my car. If my car breaks down, I'm not going to sit there in the seat forever. Way too boring. I am going to get out and walk away. And then I will get a new car. And that's basically your eternal soul does the same thing. And understanding that I, as the driver of that car, I'm not just capable of driving a car. I'm capable of many, many things outside of that car and in that car. And so are you as a soul. And so awakening is functioning more as a soul than a vehicle. And remembering who you are, raising your vibration. And when that happens, that's when what we thought were truths show up as lies. It's like it all kind of crumbles. And I tell people this all the time. Sooner or later, evil trips over its own feet. And sometimes it seems like it takes a very long time. But if you watch, we're about to see a lot of tripping. And it's important, if you have found your way to me, what I'm teaching you right now, you're going to use it. And you need it. And I'm glad that you joined me. Let's get on over to the chat and see what we got. See if I know how to do this. Mike Barra. I always say it wrong because I'm from San Diego and it's not pronounced Barra, it's pronounced Barra in San Diego. But I love you too, man. Okay. Yeah, lots of comments on this one, and I knew that you guys just know so many people that this applies to, and even yourselves. And yeah. Thank you. Lots of compliments. Thanks, guys. That's really nice. All right. I'm just reading some of the funny comments. I'm a massage therapist empath. I totally agree with neutralize the energy. See, Joan gets it. Joan already knows. And a lot of us have no idea, right? I didn't. If I would have known that, if I would have embraced and looked up, because we didn't look a lot of stuff up. I had a computer when Faith was a baby. It was like early 2000s. But it's just kind of there. That was for like papers and typing and printing something out. It wasn't really, we didn't really spend a lot of time on it. It wasn't until later that it became my answer box, until everybody was on social media and all kinds of things like that. So If I would have known when she was a baby, it would have made a lot more sense. I wouldn't have gone to the doctor so much, tell you that. See, Jones got it. She says it took her many years to figure out if the energy was hers or someone else's. She's on it. She is on it. That's what we need to do. Be Joan. Be like Joan. She got it figured out. Let's see if she said anything else, but right. Good point, Joan. And back to Archangel Michael, guys. She says, now I just ask Archangel Michael to take anything that isn't mine. And I think that is very good. Let's say, especially when you're feeling pretty low, pretty tired, pretty drained, pretty emotional, pretty anxious, always calling the angels to help you. Michael told me a long time ago, there is never an honest outstretched hand that we do not embrace. And so, but I'd like everyone to be an active participant in their own cleansing, their own identification of what's coming in and what's going out. Be more conscious of that. And I really think, if we could teach people, start telling people about empaths, if we could teach people to start pushing out a lot of positive energy. I mean, how fast does that raise the vibration of the planet when so many of us are here? How much does that help to be an active participant rather than focusing and being a victim of the energy? We're not victims of the energies. We're like, we're like energy wizards over here. We're like taking it in, cleaning it up, pushing out the good stuff. And when people hear that, my first thought is, oh my God, where's the residue? Am I like the filters? Is it staying in my body? Uriel told me no. I mean, there may be some people that tend to keep a lot, but if if our intent is to neutralize this and get rid of it, then that's our intent and that's where it goes. You guys are like, empaths are awesome from what I learned today. So let's go out there and do it. I mean, I'm going to do it. I didn't know about that part of it. I mean, I'm blasting people all the time. I'm like Xena over here. What was that? Who was that person? You guys remember the Xena warrior princess? That's my friend Marcy Howell. She's like that. Totally. She actually has pictures of herself like that, but it's pretty funny. She's like a spiritual warrior, and you guys, let's all be spiritual warriors. We're all sitting around not knowing what the hell's going on, right? Like we have no power with the current situation in the world. I'm not going to say a lot of things because then I'll get banned and we can't do this anymore. I'll find a way to do it, by the way, if I get banned. Let's all go out and be spiritual warriors. Yeah, I'll go to freaking Walmart and I'll go in there and I'm clean that place right up, blasting people and neutralizing energy and all that kind of stuff. Make a fun day out of it. Why not? And if you feel like the household, if you got kids, they don't understand. They don't understand what's going on. And you try to tell them these things, little kids will listen to you. Teenagers, no. They'll hear it again when they're like 35 and go, Mom's a genius. She is a genius. But right now, no, you're stupid. And they're not going to listen to you. So, but you got to say it, get it out there. Say, hey, you're an empath and you should really neutralize energy and push it back out and fill the world with light. And they'll be like, yeah, okay. So anyway, let's do that. Let's go on an awesome adventure and do that. I'm going to start today. Does anybody else have any other questions before I get moving on? I'll wait. Tammy says that thank you so much, Jennifer. I have been this way my whole life and just learned I was an empath this year. Your guidance is so helpful. I'm so happy you're doing this show. You're helping me so much. Oh, that makes me so happy. I love feedback. Thank you guys. Yeah. And you know what? I would play with the whole telepathy thing because I know somebody who talks to somebody with telepathy, and I'm thinking about practicing it. I always thought that I was putting out, like with Faith when she was a little girl, like I'm throwing out the signal somehow and they're picking up on it. It's her. She's picking up on me. And then Brett always thinks it's I'm picking up on him. So I'm not really sure how that all works, how that transpires, but I'll do a show on it. I'll go and ask some questions and figure it out. But I do know that empaths, what did you say about empaths, are they're the readers and the teachers and the signal lights. They are extremely good at that kind of thing, at the knowing. They feel it deeply. And I would stop suffering from this. Because a lot of them walk around like a victim. Like, everything affects me. I'm a victim to all these energies. I have to hide from the world and not participate because I'm an empath and this is some kind of mental condition or something. It's not. You know, shift your perspective about it. Understand that your vibration naturally is very high in order to do this. And you're just feeling and reading the energy that's coming through you. So you can get rid of it. That's right, Josh. Hiding is for gophers. And we don't do that because we're warriors. And so that's what we're going to do. Oh, that's great, Tony. Tony's scheduling a reading soon. Let's see. I just want to get through and I don't want to miss anybody. Let's see. Tammy. Oh, Rosemary's here. Mike's here. Ashley. Josh. Tony. All right. Yeah, anxiety, Ashley. You know how interesting it is that I've seen so many times. When I do my work, I like to call it angel's work because whatever you need, we'll get it done. I'll do my best. A lot of people will find, I ask God, send me people I can help. Send me people that resonate with me. Send me people that will benefit from what I have to say. And that's just my personal thing. You know, I just really want to do that. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but I really want to do that. And, yeah, I want to make a living because I got to take care of my family. And I want to continue to do that. You know, so it all comes together. So, you know, if you're a psychic person who people will make you feel bad if you're doing anything good for money. I'm thinking, it doesn't make any sense. You know, it's like you're supposed to do everything good for free. And it's like, okay, well, I can't continue to do the good for very long if I'm doing it all for free. I've done that before. I did everything for free for years. But that's when money didn't really matter. So I try to keep my prices down. And I always try to give more than I take. And if you're a psychic person, if you're thinking about, you know, a lot of people with the awakening are trying, they will have along the way, they will have the desire, not so much to do it as a profession, but to help others. Always give more than you take. Rule of life. Make sure that everybody walks away. If they come to you beaten and battered, you make sure they walk away better. And that's the goal. And I think that we got a lot of empaths in here. And understanding what we learned today is really going to help. So I just rattling on, but I welcome your feedback. You can email me at jenniferfallaw.com. There's a forum there, or you can go to jmfallaw. See if I have a banner at gmail.com. No, but I have this. This is cool. Do you see that on the bottom there? Here, I got this one too. Let's do that. And if you liked what I said today, please share and ask people to subscribe. And I will probably, I'm going to try and do, I told you guys I was going to do them on Monday and Wednesday. My schedule's crazy, and I'm always doing shows and I'm always doing other things. So I'm going to try and get 2 in a week. And so subscribe so you know when they're coming. That's about all I can say right now. But thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. And I'm pretty much thinking about doing the next show on telepathy, if I have enough time to study that one. So enjoy your evening. Good night.